Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtiki. Krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nandagopakumaraya govindaya namo namaha. Tapta kanchana gaurangi radhe vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 22, text number 26 and 27. Amantryatam manivaram anugyatah sahanugah pratastathe ratham aruhya sabharyah sa puram nripaha ubhayorshi kulyayaha Saraswatyah surodhasuho rishinam upashantanam pashyanashrama sampadaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. After asking and obtaining the great sage's permission to leave, the monarch mounted his chariot with his wife and started for his capital, followed by his retinue. Along the way, he saw the prosperity of the tranquil seers, beautiful hermitages. On both the charming banks of the Saraswati, the rivers were agreeable to saintly persons. Purport: as cities are constructed in the modern age with great engineering and architectural craftsmanship, so in days gone by, there were neighborhoods called Rishikulas, where great saintly persons resided. In India, there are still many magnificent places for spiritual understanding. There are many rishis and saintly persons living in nice cottages on the banks of the Ganges and Yamuna for purposes of spiritual cultivation. While passing through the Rishikulas, the king and his party were very much satisfied with the beauty of the cottages and hermitages. It is stated here, Pashyan Ashrama Sampadaha. The great sages had no skyscrapers, but the hermitages were so beautiful that the king was very much pleased at the sight. Hare Krishna. So this is a section where Swambhu Manu has come with his dear daughter Devahuti to meet Kardam Muni. And Kardam Muni had been performing tapasya to please Lord Vishnu, and the Lord appeared. The desire was to have a suitable wife, but the Lord is so kind that if somebody pleases him, he fulfills such desires also, although it is not the highest desire. Like in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna explains that anyone who pleases me, I must fulfill all his desires. So we have so many desires. Sometimes people go in front of the Lord and they simply start asking. The Lord already knows our desires, and instead of asking him, we should simply do something to please him, because once he's pleased, he will give us more than what we desire and more than what we deserve, just like he did in the case of Dhruv Maharaj also, who after seeing him didn't want anything, but then the Lord gave him so much. So the Lord comes for his devotees and he's ready to go to any extent. And here also the Lord arranged the king, the emperor of the planet, bringing his princess daughter to get married to a sage who is living a very simple, austere life in the middle of forest. So the Lord can go to such an extent that even a person who materially has nothing, but if he is pleased with him, he can get the ruler of the universe to get his daughter into that forest and get him married. The Lord can give anything to anyone who pleases him. And Swambhu Manu is very much appreciative of the renunciation of the great sages here. They were living in simple cottages. And as we all know that renunciation is also one of the 6 opulences which makes a person attractive. In fact, it is the greatest opulence, because people having other opulences, beauty, knowledge, strength, renunciation, and fame. And then 6th is renunciation. They become attractive, and they become attracted to somebody who possesses the opulence of renunciation. But the one who is having this renunciation opulence may not be attracted to others. So it is one of the most powerful opulences that even the king is attracted, although he was himself living in a palace. So the Lord makes such wonderful arrangements for his devotees, and he can go to any extent just to exhibit one of his most wonderful qualities, that is Bhakta Vatsala. And he never comes for demons. Sometimes, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I come to annihilate the miscreants, to protect the pious, and to re-establish dharma. However, the Lord doesn't come for the Lord doesn't come for demons. He comes only for his devotees. So we are celebrating a beautiful occasion today, a most wonderful occasion. Among all the incarnations of the Lord, or the manifestations of the Supreme Lord, 3 are considered most prominent. Lord Krishna himself, of course, the Swayam Bhagavan, Purna Purushottam Bhagavan. And then we have Lord Ramchandra and Lord Nrsingadev. He is the 4th incarnation. And today is the day on which the avatar of Lord Nrsingadev takes place to protect his 5-year-old devotee, that is Prahlad. So the Lord can come in any form, and especially he manifests a form which is suitable for a particular pastime. So all these different forms of the Lord that we see as avatars, they're all existing in the spiritual world. And whenever there is a need, they just come down. Like Varahadev has his own planet, Nrsingadev has his own planet, Ramchandra has his own planet, Krishna has his own planet, the topmost planet, Golok Vrindavan. But all this is simply the manifestation of the Lord's Bhakta Vatsalya nature, that he is very, very kind to his devotees. And he only comes for them. So there was a king, a famous king in India of a different religion, and he was asking one of his ministers who was from the Vedic community that I've heard your Lord takes avatar. If he's God, why does he need to come down? God must be able to do everything sitting in his own abode. So this minister agreed. He said, yes, he can. But when it comes to his devotees, he doesn't think anything. He personally gets involved. So just like a mother has a very pure heart, a compassionate heart, and very generous. So a person may be taking care of many children, maybe in an orphanage, or children who are found on the street. And the mother may be arranging through her people some medicine, food, clothing, etc. But when it comes to her own child, she will personally do it. So the minister explained this principle to the king, that when it comes to his devotees, the Lord is willing to come down personally. He loves his devotees so much. But this king didn't agree. He said, no, this is all foolishness. He should be able to do everything that he wishes simply by sitting in his own abode. Why should he need to come down? Anyways, the minister didn't say anything. He couldn't argue with the king. So one fine day, the minister and the king, they were going for a walk in the royal gardens, and there was a beautiful lake. And the king suddenly sees that the minister pushed his son, the king's son, into that lake. And without even thinking twice, the king jumped after his son and he swam across to his son and he caught him, caught hold of him, only to realize that it was not his son, it was a replica, a doll, which looked like his son. He looked at the minister who was smiling. He said, "Dear king, you see, you have so many you have so many ministers, you have so many soldiers, you have so many people to help you. Why didn't you ask them to jump and save your son?" He said, "I couldn't think. It was my son, and I had to jump. It was my son." He said, "Similarly, the Lord has so many servants, so many energies. They can do whatever He likes. But when it comes to His dear devotees, he doesn't think too much. He just jumps into this material world out of His great affection." So similarly, Lord Nrsimhadev comes on this day to protect Prahlad. And there is a lot we can learn from Prahlad's life. You see, Srila Prabhupada addressed Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad as Prahlad Maharaj. He said, Prahlad is our Guru. But what is he teaching as a Guru? Because an Acharya, a Guru, teaches by his own example. And Prahlad taught a very, very powerful lesson, an important sutra for life. So when Hiranyakashipu, the great demon, he performed tapasya, he got so many benedictions. He literally became invincible. And he conquered the whole universe. He was sitting on the throne of Indra as the king of heavens. He just changed the rules. Whoever was performing sinful activities, he would bring them to heavens. Whoever was performing pious activities, he would send them to hell. And the kind of control he exercised, I mean, nobody could even look at him. The sun had to obey him, the moon had to obey him, Indra had to obey him, the great sages had to obey him, because he was powerful by Lord Brahma's boon. But you know, this whole creation has been designed by Krishna in such a way that it won't let anybody remain proud forever. So Hiranyakashipu thought that he had conquered the whole universe and he had surpassed everyone's power. He was invincible and everybody was bowing down to him. Every Devata had to come and pay his respects to him every morning in his royal court in the heavens. But the Lord has a very, very great sense of humor. Even though the whole world outside was scared of Hiranyakashipu, but the Lord, just to express a sense of humor, and that how he can humble anybody as and when he likes, he put one of his greatest devotee in Hiranyakashipu's family only as his child. So this is how the Lord humbles everyone. The whole world was afraid of Hiranyakashipu and controlled by Hiranyakashipu. And then the Lord said, all right, you want to show your supreme controllership? Let me show you mine. And he put one of his greatest devotees as his child in his family, in Hiranyakashipu's family, Prahlad. So the whole world was agreeing to what Hiranyakashipu was saying, but his own child didn't agree to his lifestyle. This is how the Lord humbles everyone. So in his own home, he had which he thought as his greatest enemy, his own son, Prahlad. So eventually, when Hiranyakashipu was creating chaos all over the universe, all the devatas, they went to Lord Brahma, who took them to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu heard everything, and he always knew what was going on. But what Lord Vishnu said is of great significance. When the Lord heard about Hiranyakashipu's atrocities and how he was troubling the rulers of the universe, Devatas, he said, now is not the right time, but when he troubles my dear devotee Prahlad, then I will come and kill him. So the demigods, the Devatas are also devotees of the Lord, but they are not pure devotees. They are Karma Mishra Bhaktas. That means they have a desire to serve Krishna, but they also have a desire to enjoy. And therefore, they are not as much favored by the Lord as his pure devotees, like Prahlad. So the Lord clearly said, I will only come when he troubles my dear devotee Prahlad, then defying all Brahma's benedictions. Uh, Actually, he didn't defy, but the Lord can do that. And he did that later on in one instance. We'll talk about that. So he said, then I'll come and kill him. So eventually we know the story how Hiranyakashipu is ruling and he has his son Prahlad. Out of the 4 sons, Prahlad was the best. And Prahlad expressed Vaishnava philosophy. Whenever Hiranyakashipu would ask anything, Prahlad would reply whatever he had learned from his guru, Narad Muni, and he would only speak about devotional service. So although Hiranyakashipu initially loved Prahlad because he was the sweetest, the cutest, the innocent, pure, gentle, respectful, Prahlad was never disrespectful to his father. In a gentle way, he would communicate his message. But he was a fearless preacher right from his childhood. So Hiranyakashipu is a demon after all. And who is a demon? A demon's love is there as long as his own selfish motives are not endangered. A person with a demonic side will love us only as long as his own sense gratification, the desire for sense gratification is fulfilled. As soon as there is an impediment, even if it's his own son or daughter or father or a mother, they don't mind destroying them. And that's what is happening in Kali Yuga today. Because people are becoming more and more selfish and demonic. So therefore, we see sometimes the family members killing each other. Recently, we heard some incidents in Bombay where a son killed the mother, the son killed the father. Things have come to such an extreme. The brothers killing each other, the brother killing the sister destroying the brother, the father and mother. So more and more demonic propensity is being manifested. And that happens when there is lack of God consciousness. So therefore, when Srila Prabhupada met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told Srila Prabhupada that why don't you preach the message of Lord Chaitanya in English language? He said, how can we do that? We are a subjugated nation. We should first get independence. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, governments will come and go. The greatest need, the only suffering in human society is lack of Krishna consciousness. Because people are not God conscious, so they do not seem to have any good qualities. And whatever good qualities they have, they only stay with them or they are only manifest as long as it is serving their own purpose. Otherwise, one provocative situation and everything goes for a toss. Everybody gives up their divine nature. So, Hiranyakashipu, when he realizes that his own son was appreciating his greatest enemy, Vishnu, so he decided to kill him. Initially, he sent him back to the school. He told his 2 teachers, Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya, the guru of the demons, to just fine-tune or wash his brain because he thought he was being spoiled by the Vaishnavas. So both of the parties, the demons and the divine, they think in the same way. When somebody is trying to make some person a devotee, the demon thinks that they are spoiling him or her by brainwashing him. And the devotee agrees, yes, we are washing the brain, which is filled with so much contamination. But one of them has to be right, because a devotee sees when a demon is trying to pull somebody to his side, they're also thinking he's being brainwashed. One of them is right, and definitely the devotees are right. Or the demon is right, actually, because the devotees do help wash our brains of all the contamination. But when every attempt failed, Hiranyakashipu saw that Prahlad's conviction in Lord Vishnu is not going away. So he decided to kill him, and he ordered his execution. And what kind of atrocities were committed against Prahlad? What kind of punishments were given to him, to a 5-year-old child? And for what? Just because he was a devotee. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says he has many instructions, but there are 25 which are very special. We can even search on Google 25 important instructions of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And one of the things that he mentions is that anybody who takes to this path of devotional service, his path is set with thorns. It's not easy. So we should not have that anticipation that, oh, now I become a devotee, there'll be no more problems in life. Nobody will misunderstand me. Everything will be just perfect. No, the Lord teaches the world through those whom he loves the most. And definitely he teaches through his most surrendered devotees. So sometimes we also wonder, oh, I'm being misunderstood. I've done nothing wrong and I've been so nice to everyone. But Prahlad was way ahead of any of such people. He was the
Hello.
serving God. He was
Hello.
serving God. And that was his only fault. So even people who are not harming others, who are,
Hello.
one stage is that somebody is being very pious. So, but the higher stage is where a person is serving God. That is the highest activity. And he's 100% engaged, dedicated to the Lord's service. And even such a person has to face so much hatred, has to go through trials and tribulations. This is the nature of the world. Krishna teaches that no matter who we are, as long as we are in this material world, there will be problems. Krishna has designated this world as Dukhalayam. Whoever we are, Dukhalayam means the place of Dukha, where misery is more prominent than happiness. Okay, there could be little happiness, but that is flickering. But most prominent is the misery, Dukhalayam. Dukhale, Dukhon ka ale. So Prahlad had to face all of it just because he was a devotee. He had no other fault. So he was being put under the feet of an elephant. He was thrown into a pit filled with snakes. He was thrown off a cliff. He was thrown into an ocean. They tried to drown him. He was fed poison. Can we just request somebody to mute everyone? And one more incident that is always talked about is that when Hiranyakashipu saw that all the attempts were failing, he told his sister Holika, who had a benediction from Lord Brahma, that she had a special shawl or she had a benediction that fire could not harm her. Even if she sat in the middle of fire, she wouldn't die. And Hiranyakashipu knew Lord Brahma's benedictions are quite powerful. So he thought, uh, let's ask my sister Holika, who was equally demonic, who was ready to kill a child. This is the most heinous act, to kill children. But she was more than willing to do that. In the Bhagavatam only, it is described that 5 living entities must always be respected, and anybody who tries to harm them, all his life duration, his name, fame, his piety, everything will be finished in no time. So this person, she sat, and when the fire subsided, she was she disappeared completely. She was dead. She turned into ashes. But Prahlad survived. So this is the only incident, I think, in the history of the creation where Lord Brahma's benediction failed. Otherwise, even the Lord, when he comes personally, he tries to abide by what Lord Brahma has said, although he doesn't need to. But he tries to protect Brahma's dignity. But this was the special case because a devotee was in danger. And when a devotee is in danger, the Lord can go to any extent. He can make new rules, he can break old rules, he can surpass every other rule within the universe that he himself has created. And Brahma's benediction here failed. So now, when Hiranyakashipu saw that all his attempts were failing, again his teachers took Prahlad. Let us try one more time. Prahlad is again taken to the school. His teachers are trying to threaten him, trying to brainwash him, and do a lot of things. They thought Prahlad is a little child. He would agree to whatever they say. And Prahlad was actually very kind and gentle, respectful to his teachers. He wouldn't retaliate. He would listen to whatever they had to say, but then he would do his own thing because he considered Narad Muni as his original guru. So one day, when all the teachers had gone away, the students, other children in the school, they were always very impressed by Prahlad because he seemed to learn something else which they didn't learn. And they said, Prahlad, we are also from the same family, same kula, you are from the same kula. We also hear the same thing from our teachers, you also hear the same thing, but it seems that you know a lot more. Where did you learn all this? Then Prahlad told his story, how once his mother was being abducted by the Devatas when she was pregnant with me, Prahlad said. But Narad Muni stopped and said, no, you can't kill this, because they wanted to kill me, Prahlad said. They thought Hiranyakashipu is anyways a big demon, so his child could be a bigger demon. So Narad said, no, he is a great devotee of the Lord, so leave him. And then Narada took Hiranyakashipu's wife to his ashram till Hiranyakashipu came back from his tapasya. And Prahlad was within the womb, and Narad Muni would speak about bhakti to the Supreme Lord every day. Prahlad within the womb learned everything. Prahlad said, this is how I remember everything. So the child learned within the womb. And then he started preaching to the children. The children were so impressed, they started singing and dancing. The whole school was doing kirtan of the names of Lord Vishnu. And imagine this scene when the teachers come back, they are horrified. They wanted to change Prahlad, but now the whole school had become devotee. So they immediately catch hold of Prahlad and they angrily bring him back to Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu is so angry, he decides to kill him personally. He said, let me see how your Lord Vishnu comes to save you. And he picked up his sword, it is said. And he said, where is your Lord Vishnu? And Prahlad said, he is everywhere. And Prahlad was looking at a pillar. Hiranyakashipu said, do you think he's inside this pillar? Hiranyakashipu, when he asked this, Prahlad looked at the pillar, said, yes, he's everywhere, he's inside this pillar also. So the acharyas explain that just because Prahlad said, yes, the Lord is inside the pillar, Lord Nrsimhadev had to rush into that pillar instantly just to prove that the word of Prahlad was true. So the Lord may break his own word, but he will never let the word of his devotee to be proven false. So the Lord had to rush. And some acharyas explain that, yes, The Lord was already there, and he blinked at Prahlad that don't worry, I'm there. And that's why Prahlad said, yes, he's there. And Hiranyakashipu angrily smashed his fist or sword, sometimes it's mentioned, on this pillar. And there was a huge uproar. There was a tumultuous sound which seemed to crack the covering of the whole universe. And this sound spread all over the universe. When the Devatas heard this deafening noise, they thought the end of universe was near. It was time for Pralay. Pralay, when it happens, everybody dies. So they were preparing. And here in the palace of Hiranyakashipu, everybody was trying to figure out the source of this sound. And only when the debris and the dust subsided, Hiranyakashipu saw somebody whom he had never seen before. And when he looked at this personality, he thought a creature who was neither a man nor a lion, who looked indifferent. He was kind of a little scared also, but then he thought, no, but I'll kill him. It was the most powerful, ferocious, angry form of the Lord, as Lord Nrsingadev. And he immediately jumped out of that pillar. And Hiranyakashipu took up his sword and his shield, and he attacked Lord Nrsingadev. And on this day, in the Abhijit Muhurat at around 12 noon, Lord Nrsingadev appeared. So he could have immediately killed Hiranyakashipu. But Hiranyakashipu had taken benedictions from Lord Brahma that he shouldn't die by any creature created by him, any created being, neither inside the house nor outside the house, neither with any weapons, astra, shastra, neither during the day nor at night. So Lord Nrsingadev kept on fighting with Hiranyakashipu, and sometimes Hiranyakashipu thought he was winning. He was fully convinced that he would kill Lord Nrsingadev, and it seemed till evening that the battle was between equals. But when the twilight period came, which was neither night nor day, suddenly Hiranyakashipu was caught by Lord Nrsingadev, just like the cat first initially plays with the rat, and the rat feels, oh, I can run away. But when the cat decides to kill the rat, in no time she catches it. So instantly Lord Nrsingadev caught Hiranyakashipu and within his fist. And he brought him to the threshold of the house, because he had asked for another benediction that he should not die inside the house or outside the house. So demons think that they can surpass the intelligence of the Supreme Lord, but it just took a few moments for the Supreme Lord to find a loophole in everything and abide by all Brahma's boons, at the same time kill him. Therefore it is said there is nothing impossible for the Supreme Lord. And instantly he should not die in the air, on the ground. So the Lord put him on his lap. No astra shastra. He used his nails, powerful nails, and he just tore open his body, his belly, and took his intestines and put it around his neck. And in like no time, within a second, the most powerful ruler of the universe, whom everybody was scared of, was destroyed by the Supreme Lord Nrsingadev on this day, at the twilight period, dusk. Shri Nrsingadev Bhagavan ki jai. So Prahlad was still the same, because he had full faith. Whether the Lord kills, punishes somebody, or he embraces someone, the result is the person gets benefited. Eventually, Nrsingadev's anger is subsiding only when Prahlad prays to him. And Lord Nrsingadev makes him sit on his lap, and he's licking him just to shower his affection. So the Lord was feeling Vatsalya Prem towards Prahlad. A lion shows its love for the cubs by licking with his tongue. So the Lord Nrsingadev started licking Prahlad's face, and he felt so much Vatsalya Bhav. So that's when Lord Nrsingadev, the Lord, developed a desire to also feel that Vatsalya, experience that Vatsalya. And that's when he decided that from next incarnation, whenever I come, I will also accept parents. And I also want to experience that Vatsalya Prem of parents. I want to be loved as a child also. Therefore, you see, before Lord Nrsimhadev, every incarnation, they just appeared, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, and even Nrsimhadev. But after Nrsimhadev, every incarnation that came, the Lord accepted parents because he wanted to experience the Vatsalya Ras. He likes to be controlled by his devotees. So one very important lesson that Prahlad taught, which I want to end with, end this discussion with, is that when Prahlad was going through so much, now one response could be feel bad, feel distressed. One response could be complaining, why is it happening to me? I'm a devotee of the Lord. One response could be neutral, hone do, it's my own karma coming back. One response could be, oh, we are praying to the Lord to protect. But what was Prahlad's response when he was going through all these troubles in his life? That's why he's an acharya, he's a mahajan, he's a guru. Prahlad, while going through all this, didn't complain, didn't even pray for protection. A devotee at least would pray for protection to the Lord, that please, my dear Lord, protect me. And there's nothing wrong about this. But Prahlad, he didn't even pray for protection. Not even once he prayed that, my dear Lord, please protect me. Prahlad was doing what he was supposed to do. Like Lord Krishna has declared in the Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha pariupasite tesham nitya abhyuktanam yogakshemam bahamiham. That anybody who remembers me with undivided attention, I must carry what he lacks and I must protect what he has. So what was Prahlad doing through all this? He was simply remembering the Lord. Therefore, when it comes to Navida Bhakti, the limb of remembrance, Prahlad's example is given, who perfected his life simply by remembering the Lord. He simply remembered the Lord, and as a result of which the Lord was duty bound to protect him completely, to supply what he lacked and to protect what he had. This is a very important sutra for life. If we ever feel stuck in life, whether it's material life, spiritual life, there are calamities, dangers, instead of becoming anxious, we simply have to follow Prahlad's example. Any problem, we should simply start remembering the Lord. And as soon as we do that, the Lord will supply what we lack. He will protect us completely, because that is the promise he has made. The very important sutra Prahlad has done. Generally, when something goes wrong, we become anxious, we're depressed, we start running around for help. But we don't need to do anything. We just have to sit in one place and start remembering the Lord, and the magic will happen. And this is the path shown by the great souls. When Nanda Baba was coming back to Vrindavan from Mathura, and Vasudev had told him, you go back to Vrindavan, there could be some disturbances, because Vasudev knew Kansa had deputed Putna. So on the way to Vrindavan, Nanda Baba is a little anxious about the safety of his child. So what does he do? Harim Jagam Sharanam. He simply started remembering the Lord. He took shelter of the Lord, Supreme Lord, through remembrance. And it is explained in the Vedic scriptures that the remembrance of the Lord has such tremendous potency that sometimes the biggest calamities that are supposed to come into a person's life because of his past karmas, they can be averted simply by a moment's remembrance of the Lord. They will come, they will leave us. That is the power of the Lord's remembrance, and Prahlad taught us that. He simply remembered the Lord, and the Lord had to leave his own abode and come to this world to make sure that whatever promise he has made is fulfilled, and that he will always protect his devotee who remembers him with undivided attention. So it's a very, very powerful day, auspicious day. And Lord Nrsimhadev's Aradhana in Narsingha Puran, it is mentioned that the worship of Lord Nrsimhadev is very important in Kali Yuga. Why Kali Yuga? Srila Prabhupada personally introduced it also. Because Kali Yuga is the worst of the yugas where people face maximum amount of insecurity, problems, issues in their life. In essence, maximum misery. They face impediments in material life, they face impediment in spiritual life, or whatever miseries they have to go through due to that. And Lord Nrsimhadev's duty or job is to remove all those impediments. Because as long as those impediments are there, how can we approach Krishna? So Nrsimhadev is also known for giving Krishna prem, love for devotion for Krishna. So all we have to do is pray to the Lord today. We can chant special prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev, do the arti, offer him special bhoga, chant the Mahamantra more and more, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, hear about his divine appearance, participate in the festivities. That's how we celebrate it. And there is fasting till dusk. Prahlad's previous lifetime was that unknowingly he had fasted on Narsingh Chaturdashi. Unknowingly. He was a very sinful person in his past life. But unknowingly he ended up fasting because he didn't get any food and water that night. And the spiritual merits that he acquired due to that made him such a great devotee of the same incarnation in his next life. So that is the power of observing today's sacred day. The amount of spiritual merits that we'll acquire will make our future very, very, very secure. And this is what human life is all about, investing in those things which will give us benefit in the long run, eternally. So happy Narsingha Chaturdashi. Thank you very much. And thank you, Devkinandan Prabhu, for giving me the opportunity on this special day. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you. Supremely fortunate to have your association. Beautiful descriptions on this very special day and teachings from Prahlad Maharaj. I'll give over to Madhupati Prabhu. Madhupati Prabhu, please say some closing statement.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful class on the appearance of Lord Nrsimhadev and Narsingha Leela. So thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. We would like to wish everybody a happy Narsingha Chaturdashi. And we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting 3 times Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
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 Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
I would also like to offer
Hare
prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Jaya Padma, Makapadma Bringam, Ugra Veeram,
Ugraviram
Mahavishnu Jalantam
Mahavishnu Jalantam
Sarvatomukham,
Sarvatomukham
Narsingham
Narsingham
Vishnam
Vishnam
Badram,
Bhadram
Nityam Nityam
Mrityunjayam Namami.
Namamiham. Nrsimha Bhagwan ki,
Ki Jai,
God Maharaj ki.
Ki Jai.
Today on Nrsimha Chaturdashi we will be fasting till dusk. We have a program in the evening at the temple starting at 6 p.m. You all are invited. There will be kirtan, yagya, Nrsimha yagya, offering of tulsi lips at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev with 108 different names of Lord Nrsimhadev. So, and definitely sumptuous prasadam. So, please come. We'd like to also offer our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Thank you very much for joining today on this very special day. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu bhai vacha patitanam pavane bhayo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. वैष्णववृंद की
जय
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय,
जय
रूपाद की जय,
जय
नरसिंह भगवान की जय,
जय
प्रहलाद महाराज की
जय।
और प्रेमानंदे।
हरे हरि 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 बोल। Thank you everybody. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.